All right, good. We'll call this meeting to order, and we'll open with a moment of silence. Let's all stand for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The next item is approval of the agenda. We do need to make one change, which is under closed session. In addition to EDC report, we need to add a personnel matter. Could I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I move we approve.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
I, Broadnax Taylor.
Aye. Motion is carried. Next item is the conflict of interest statement.
In accordance with the rules of procedures adopted by this board and Section 153A-44 of the North Carolina General Statutes, it is the duty of every member present to vote on all matters coming before the board, unless there is a conflict of interest as determined by the board or by law. Does any board member have a conflict of interest with respect to any agenda item coming before the board today? If so, please identify the conflict and the board will consider the matter. No conflict, Broadnax Taylor.
No conflict. No conflict.
No conflict. Okay, the next item is citizen comments.
Okay, citizens, if you've signed up, when you're recognized, please approach the podium. Your comments will be limited to 5 minutes. The chair will cut off all speakers exceeding their allotted time. If you have any questions of the board, you will receive a response from the board or county staff. The board will not respond or otherwise engage in a dialogue with you during your allotted time. Pursuant to North Carolina law, this time is allotted on the agenda for the purpose of allowing public commentary on county business. This is not an open forum to be publicly critical of the performance of any county commissioner or county employee, and the chair will maintain the order and decorum of the meeting. The first speaker is Marcia Majette.
Good evening.
This letter is pertaining to 3 areas of concern. First is the W.S. Creasy School in Ridgeway, North Carolina. Thank you. This letter is pertaining to 3 areas of the W.S. Creasy School is part of the Ridgeway history, and it's important for our community to see something erected in honor of the late W.S. Creasy. In order to get something built in Mr. Creasy's memory, the current building, the old school building, has to be torn down. We recognize that it will take an enormous amount of money to do this, and it will not to get done overnight. Maybe the demolition of the school can be done in phases after long discussions of deconstruction. However, we need this matter to be addressed much sooner than later. The Ridgeway community is asking questions, hoping to see something moving in that direction. There is, quote unquote, nothing impossible with God, if you're understanding what I mean. So, with that being said, just start somewhere, someplace, and keep us, the Ridgeway community, informed. We want you to know that we want you to keep in mind, we understand that what was entailed in making the decision to condemn the school, and that you did all you could do to refrain in making that decision. Sad to say, and to our regret, the decision was made, was one none of us wanted to hear. The second area of concern is the multi-purpose building. The last commissioner of this community mentioned it would be built behind the gym, which seemed to be the only place to position it, considering the available space. As we wait for the school to be torn down, can this be a reachable project for the county to approach for us to have in Rich Square in the near future? The third area of concern is the athletic field. I spoke to Mr. James Roberts and asked about the condition of the grounds to be used. The response was that it was not in good condition to be used for athletics, and that if there was a need to use an athletic field, the one in the Wellness Center in Jackson was conducive. That may be true. However, I strongly appeal to you that the people in the Rich Square community want our field back to use. We also can have athletics, different events, as well as other recreation to be done on the field, which also will be accessible to the people in the county to come to. It was suggested to ask if this can be allotted in the budget for next year. Upon that suggestion, we are requesting a clearing and a leveling off of the land for the athletic field in Rich Square to be available to our county public to enjoy. Will you allot this project to be in the 26th budget? It is important for us to build in Rich Square, in the Rich Square community, and make it a landmark of history in Northampton County. We hope your sentiments are the same. Respectfully submitted, Marcia Majette.
Thank you, and that's something we can look at our upcoming retreat in August.
Wayne Garner.
Good evening, Commissioners. I just have one simple question. At one of your meetings, you said something about hiring an environmental attorney about getting rid of the debris. I just want to know where you stand on hiring that attorney.
Thank you.
Richie Harding.
As election season approaches, I was here several months ago and I asked about redrawing the district lines for the Board of County Commissioners for Northampton County, the district which I reside in, which is District 5, covers about 48% of the county's population and about 43% of the voters. The process itself, which is something I have been asking about for years, has always just been pushed aside or blown off. But that process can begin with this governing board, according to North Carolina General Statute. And I am asking today, I have not received a response from the last time I was here, but I am asking once again, please send me a response as to what will be done concerning redrawing the district lines in Northampton County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Matthew Daughtry.
Good evening. My name is Matthew Daughtry. I am 15 years old and I'm honored to speak with you tonight. In just over a month, you, our county commissioners, will be attending the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners Conference in Greenville. I'm excited to share with you that I will be there too, representing Northampton County 4-H as this year's Youth Voice Delegate. I'm thankful to Northampton County Cooperative Extension and 4-H for giving me this opportunity. As part of my role, I've been asked to think about a desire for our county. So I've chosen to talk about something close to my heart, not just for me, but for young people across our county, and that is the need for connection, especially connection that brings youth together while embracing our differences. When I think of Northampton County, I think of home, of family, friendship, and the desire to belong. These are things I've always valued, but didn't always know how to embrace them in the past. I struggled with being bullied and often felt like I didn't fit in. So I built invisible walls and hid behind them. The sad part was I wanted more than anything for those walls to be broken. And through prayer and new opportunities, that finally started to happen. One change was being accepted into Northampton County Early College, which gave me a fresh start with school. I found friendships I never thought would be possible and embraced new backgrounds and perspective. I opened myself up to people, which wasn't easy for me, and in doing so, I learned more about myself and others. This has helped me grow and look towards the future with hope. Other changes that broke down these walls over the past couple of years was becoming a founding member of a church plant in Northampton County and joining 4-H. These experiences meant so much to me and have helped me realize that I don't want to be heard, just want to be heard, but I want to help others be heard too. I want young people to feel seen, valued, and empowered. These changes have taught me that leadership is more than just speaking. It's about listening, encouraging others, and building community. They've given me the confidence to speak up and the desire to create a space for others to do the same. Through 4-H, I've discovered interests that I never expected. A little over a month ago, I had the chance to walk alongside Representative Rodney Pierce at the 2025 Northeast District Dairy Project Show, as he showed a cow for the first time. If our local program hadn't invited him, then me and my fellow 4-Hers may have never had the experience. My 4-H agent, my fellow 4-Hers, and I didn't just show him what the Dairy Project was about. We got to share what 4-H, cooperative extension, community, and connection truly means. And y'all, I used to be the kid who stayed inside, but now I love working with animals, especially cows, and I enjoy gardening. 4-H hasn't just taught me new skills, it has helped me discover new parts of myself. This year was also my second year giving a presentation at Northeast District Activity Day. I was nervous, but I used the skills I've learned through 4-H, school, and ministry, and I pushed through. I presented alongside 5 youths from our county and over 200 youths from across Northeast District, North Carolina. My hope is that even more young people get involved in the future because these opportunities help build leadership. I believe every young person has something to say, but to grow as a leader, we need spaces where it's okay to be different, where we can share openly and work with people in a variety of backgrounds. This may be 4-H or something else, but these opportunities are important, and that is my hope for Northampton County youth. More opportunities connect across our differences because we do that. We believe a future that is stronger and more united. So tonight I stand here grateful for my family, school, church, county, 4-H, and every opportunity I've been given. And I stand here with a challenge and a hope. Let's continue investing into young people and let's build opportunities where youth not only succeed, but learn to understand each other. And let's keep building youth leadership that includes choosing courage, showing empathy, and building connection. Thank you for believing in young people like me and for your leadership. And thank you for letting me share this part of my story. There is so much more to come, and I look forward to sharing and helping others do the same. I hope to connect with you again at your next month at the NCACC conference. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next?
Tiffany Smith.
Hello. I'm sorry I was late. I was over at the other building. That's the address that's on the website. So I was trying to get into that building. My name is Tiffany Smith. I am an attorney out of the Gaston Township. And I might be opening up a can of worms because I was actually trying to direct this personally to Mr. Kelvin Edwards as my representative, who directed me to the county attorney, but I think it's more of a board question. And my can of worms might be these solar farms. I was told that we're trying to figure out, as I represent a large landowner or several large landowners in the Gaston Township, and we're trying to figure out, after we had a deal on the table for after the moratorium was lifted, and we were informed recently, as of last week, that there was a cap put on the number of solar farms. And we're trying to figure out the mathematics that went into it, and also which voices were present at the table when you guys made that decision. Was it anybody young like myself who would be alive at the end of the solar farms to see it through? What young people were involved, what voices were involved, and how did you calculate those mathematics to put that cap on the number of solar farms? If you guys could follow up with me with an answer to that, I would greatly appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Those are all the sign-up sheets I have.
All right. The next item is the TK elevator agreement.
Good evening, Commissioners. I have a couple of items that I'll present. The first one is the TK elevator agreement. Simply stated, is the annual inspection agreement that's required that we have, and that's for the elevator in this building. The total is $10,584 annually, and this is a budgeted item.
Anyone have any questions? Well, this is to be voted on next time, correct?
Correct.
All right, that's what I thought. All right,
Move forward.
no one has any questions? Continue.
Okay, item number 7 is the resolution for authorizing the sale. And I'm just going to read it. Whereas Northampton County owns a certain item of personal property that has become surplus for its current needs, whereas Section 153A, 176, and 160A, 266 of the North Carolina General Statutes permit the county to sell such property by private sale upon authorization by the Board of Commissioners at a regular meeting and notice to the public. And whereas the Board of Commissioners is convened in a regular meeting, therefore, the Board of Commissioners of Northampton County resolves that, 1, the Board of Commissioners authorizes the county manager to sell by private sale the following item of surplus personal property, and it's listed as a loader located at the solid waste site in Jackson, North Carolina. And that 2, the clerk to the Board of Commissioners shall publish a notice summarizing this resolution, and no sale may be executed pursuant to this resolution until at least 10 days after the day the notice is published. And that is it. It's basically following the same procedures that we use for the sale of the Odom sign. Anytime we just can't give away.
Go around selling
property.
stuff.
Right. We gotta put a resolution
Right.
and have you all approve it, or we can create a policy. So we don't do this a whole lot, so we use this procedure.
Okay.
Any questions?
Any question, board? Okay, if not.
That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. The next item is cooperative extension, Craig Allison.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, evening, Commissioners, and just appreciate this opportunity to come before you. What we're doing is we're making y'all aware of us going before the ECU Roanoke Chowan Hospital Community Benefits and Health Initiative Grant Program Group, and we've been asked for them to supply a grant to us, and they have awarded us this grant for the 2025-26 budget year. And all we need from y'all is permission for y'all to allow the county manager to sign the agreement to receive these funds. And these funds will be put into the county budget for us to use during this coming budget year. And I'm a department head, but I cannot sign a contract when we receive funds. So it will be the county manager that would be doing the signing to receive these funds. Do y'all have any questions for me?
Have you ever received this before, Mr. Craig?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. I would like to say we have received them annually.
Okay.
It's no guarantee, but every year we've applied. And so I use that word annually because we have been successful in receiving grant funds from this group every year. They have been called in the past Vidant, and then when they changed the name, it became the ECU Health System. So sometimes that can cause some confusion also.
And you usually use this for what? This
This will be used for nutrition education and in relation to diabetes, and that will be the main emphasis for the use of these grants for educational program for that. And I apologize because I probably didn't do a good job of explaining that. Any other questions? Okay, we thank y'all for y'all's consideration.
All right. Thank you, Craig. Next item is economic development.
Afternoon. Got a couple items tonight. Before we get into economic development matters, I wanted to bring up Chris Brown first. I want the board to hear from one of our current industries at the Commerce Park, which is Enviva. As you all know, one key component of my job is to ensure that we maintain a strong labor force, solid capital investment here in the county, and that's building and maintaining those relationships. It's apparent that many of us may have some questions about Enviva, their operations, environmental concerns, and so we have put together a brief presentation to give you an overview of the company itself, the Northampton County plant specifically, and the facts that relate to the community that they serve. And so I'll bring up Chris Brown. Chris, if you want to come up. Put him on the spot here. Come on up, Chris. So Chris serves as the Regional Director of Public Relations for Enviva. He has been instrumental in my tenure here. I've only been here for a short period of time, but he has been a key contact. And so I'll turn it over to him so he can give you a presentation of the company. Please use this time during or after the presentation to ask any questions that you may have as it relates to their operations. And we'll go from there. Thanks.
Thank you, Derek. Good evening. As Derek said, my name is Chris Brown, and I'm the Senior Manager for Community Relations for Enviva. I'm going to click next slide. This is just a picture of our facility. I don't know if folks have never been able to take a look at it, but this is right near our main entrance. Next slide. Wait, I got to turn it on. Hold on. Simple instructions. I failed. There we go. Just a little bit about me. I've been with Enviva since 2018. I've been in the forest products realm for 20 plus years. So I'm pretty familiar with Northampton County, being that this county is blessed with a lot of great forest land. And also some, fabulous staff with Rodney Black as the county county forester. This is a little bit of myself. I live in Granville County. This is my allotment. Derek didn't believe I had 4 kids this old, but we go boy, girl, and Two of my boys graduated from the Naval Academy, one from one of my daughters, Appalachian State, and then everybody tells I finally got it right. My youngest graduated from NC State, so. And we live in Granville County. So Enviva's purpose, number one is displace fossil fuels. Burning our wood pellets, our consumers are power companies, so we displace the use of coal. So they can burn our wood pellets instead of burning coal. Another one of our purposes is grow trees sustainably. We cannot accept any fiber that is harvested from a site that will not be reforested. So you could have a tract of timber, it gets harvested, it gets turned into a church. We can't take that fiber because the whole purpose on fighting climate change is we got to keep the carbon cycle going. So if we're going to take fiber from a tract, it's got to be replanted. And then the last thing is, fighting climate change. If we're using less fossil fuels, if we're making sure that our forests remain in forests, and again, this county does an awesome job of it, we can fight climate change. Just a corporate update, Glenn Nunciato, and I can never say that name well, was appointing our Chief Executive Officer in December of 2024. He actually joined the company in August of 2023 as a Chief Financial Officer, and then guided the company through its Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and became, when he came out of that, became the new Chief Executive Officer. We're no longer a publicly traded company. We are now a private company. And I've listed some highlights for the road to recovery for our company. One of the things that we've always done, I'm going to highlight raising the bridge. One of the things we've always prided ourselves as a company is have long-term contracts. Our contracts are 12, 15 years in duration. Some of those contracts, because of inflation and other things, were not profitable. So we were able to go back and renegotiate some of those with our top customers to put us in a better position financially. And then the other thing I'd like to highlight is our newest facility in Epps, Alabama will come online in July, August of this year, and that facility will have a capacity of 1.1 million metric tons annually. So in the whole reset process for our company, we're kind of taking two strides. We were a grow company, and now we're really working on being resilient. This is just a footprint of, whoop. Can this go back? This was a picture of our footprint. Just highlights, oh, there we go. Highlights where we're up in the Northeast. Does this have a pointer? Well, obviously, you know where we are. We're in the Northeast corner. So the Northampton, we kind of call things funny. Some of our facilities, we call it by the county. Some of it we call by the, actually, the name of the town. So our Northeast corner is Garysburg, North Carolina, Ahoskie, North Carolina, and in Southampton, Virginia, Southampton County, it's actually Franklin, Virginia. All three of those facilities feed our port facility in Chesapeake. And then you can get a look at, you can see where we are in the Southeast. Obviously, we're tied to the coast because our markets are either Europe or Asia. Next slide. Okay, this is just the 4 stages of the pellet. The only thing I want to highlight here is we're starting on the left-hand side, and we start with wood fiber. It's chipped up, dried out, chipped up, dried out. We get to that dry oatmeal phase, and then it's pressed into a pellet. I'd like to highlight the fact we do not add any additives or any chemicals. It's just chopping up and drying up wood. Just a little bit about Northampton. You folks probably know it as well as I do. The facility opened in 2013. We have 105 direct employment associates. 90% of these associates are from Northampton County. We always say that there's a multiplier to what we do in the forest products community. So we estimate there's probably another 400 jobs that are created by our facility in Gettysburg. Truck drivers, loggers, foresters, mechanics, things like that help out. In August of 2019, we did have a public hearing. North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality led that hearing. We added 3 pieces of air quality controls. One of them is, we call an RTO, regenerative thermal oxidizer. The other is a regenerative catalytic oxidizer, we call RCO. And basically that just traps all of the emissions that come out of our facility. And the permit was successful. We were granted, and our permit total was $780,000 ballpark. We have a new permit application. In our 2019 application, we had set out to add an additional line. I said before that we take in fiber, we chop it up and dry it out with one complete circle. We were going to add an additional circle. We've decided that we're no longer going to do that. So we are going back in. This most recent permit is to go back in and clean that up. Now, I will say that the permit does raise our production level or request for 900,000. But there's no way, the way our facility is set up, without adding more pellet presses or more drying lines, there's no way we could do that. And just historically, in the 13, 14 years that we've been in existence, the Northampton facility has never produced over 600,000 tons in any given year. We do run 24/7. Our truck schedule is usually heavy in the morning, and then it starts to wane during the afternoon. Just loggers are trying to get their fiber in to us as fast as they can. We do run a debarker, which is right in the middle of our facility. It probably makes the most noise of anything at our facility. But again, that does not run 24/7. That is run periodically based on what our fiber is. And we also do we operate when it gets dry and hot like this, we operate water trucks that will keep the dust down on our roads. Just want to add something on air quality. DEQ maintains air quality monitors across North Carolina. This, I believe in the report, if you click on that, it'll bring you to this live feed from the state. We monitor ourselves, all of our operations, all our air quality monitors to make sure they're running properly and in what the state has asked us at what level to run them at. And our staff talks with NCDEQ on a regular basis. Here are the last 2 inspections, 23, 24. Our air quality, when we received our permit in 2019, we get reviewed annually, which is a little stricter than on most companies. Most companies in this situation would get like once every 5 years, but we are tested annually, and these are public knowledge. They're posted on DEQ's website, and you can see we're in compliance in both of those. Our responsible sourcing policy, again, we talked a little bit about this. If we take fiber from track, we have to make sure that it is reforested. We have to, as a company, be certified to all of the sustainability standards that are set both here in the US and also in the European market and the Asian market. So we've got a whole bunch of alphabet soup, so to speak, to comply with to make sure we do that. And I also like to highlight the fact that we continue, because we take low fiber wood, we provide a great market for landowners who normally might not have that extra market for their timber that's left after a harvest is completed. And this is actually a picture of one of our foresters on the far left, Lauren Killian, and she's working with members of the sustainable, or the SFLR program based in, it's actually based in right outside of Ahoskie, but these landowners are from Enfield. Enfield, my geography, Enfield, Northampton County? No. Okay, Halifax. Sorry, I always get confused right on the line, but. Our track and trace program is probably, everybody's going to have to do it now because of some of the new policies that are coming out of the or the European Union. But for us, we have always tracked where we get our fiber from. So that means loggers, when they harvest timber, they fill out a report for us. We catalog it, so we know exactly where all of our fiber comes from, and we know what fiber we took from the site. It is online. It's not exact just for landowners' safety, but we do keep track of every fiber, every truckload of fiber we take in. Community relations, that's my job. I kind of have 5 highlights that we work on: community enrichment, neighborhood relationships, sustainable forest management, forest restoration, conservation, first responder support, and then workforce development. So these are all things that we try to stay engaged with. I like to say we don't do a cookie cutter approach. We base our support and participation based on needs that are expressed to us from the community. And that's it. If there are any questions, hopefully I touched on everything, but if there are any questions. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I didn't get your last name.
Brown.
Mr. Chris Brown.
Yeah, I cannot sing or dance like he can.
You know, the thing that I like about Enviva is with the closing of GP over in Emporia, you all have hired a lot of the men from there, and a lot of friends or people over in the Seaboard area that were unemployed. And for that, I'd like to thank you for that.
We appreciate that.
But on the other end, I have some concerns.
Okay.
Okay. I have sat in the yards right there beside the Enviva plant in community meetings where those people that live beside the Enviva plant are not very happy. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the sound of that machine that you mentioned,
The debarker, yes.
that debarker,
Yes.
is one loud son of a gun. Some of those people that are in that meeting slept during the meeting because they can't sleep at night because that machine is so loud. There is so much dust from the wood pellets or whatever the wood, whatever, I think they're pellets, or the grinding or whatever, so much dust on the trucks, on their homes, back on, I think it's called Lebanon Road.
Lebanon Church Road.
Yes, yes, sir. And they're inhaling it. And they stay in the doctor's office a lot of the time because they have a lot of respiratory issues. And they're catching a hard time. So where I'm just really thankful on one end, but I got some concerns on the other for
Yeah.
those people who are catching a rough time, those
Well-
citizens. And my question is, with everything you're doing for community relations, do you all attend those little bitty community meetings? I call them those little bitty yard meetings to hear the concerns of those citizens who are catching a rough time because I attend a lot of those I call them yard meetings, because I attended one yesterday. Couldn't attend a meeting I should have been at because I was in a yard meeting. And do y'all attend a lot of these yard meetings so you hear the cries of the citizens?
Whenever we are invited to a meeting of any type, or if a neighbor places a complaint, I go and visit with the neighbor. The challenge for us and our environmental folks is everything we have is capped and going through either our RCO or our RTO. DEQ is monitoring it. We're monitoring it, and we don't see it. So that therein lies the challenge of where's it coming from? Where does it originate? We always try to monitor our own operations, and now and then we will have an upset condition or some piece of machinery doesn't work properly, but we monitor it all and fix that. So the challenge we have is matching up the scientific data that we get from DEQ and the monitors and our reading of equipment showing that it's working well, and then some of the claims. That's where the disconnect. But we do attend any meetings that we're invited to, and we held a public hearing, not a public hearing, but a public information session last year. I can't remember exactly when, but we held it in Garysburg.
I don't understand the scientific, what you're saying. And you sound like you know what you're talking about, but I don't know.
I don't know what those environmental guys know, believe me.
But I tell you what I do know. I went down there and stayed in my car one night so I could hear what they heard. That's what I know. And I heard what they heard. And I breathed in 2 hours what they breathed in. I do know that.
Yeah, I see. And again, I travel to that facility a lot and spend a lot of time there. And I just don't experience the same level of dust that you're talking about.
That's what's concerning to me. And I'll be glad we can talk later. I'm not going to hold up the meeting or your time, but that's concerning to me. And those people down on Lebanon Church Road, James Jones Church Road, and those folks that got to breathe that, and that dust that's on their beautiful homes, and them doctor bills they have to incur because they got to breathe it in.
Yeah.
That's what bothers me.
Yeah, and again, I'll just go back and say that from the scientific, from the monitors that we have and the monitors that DEQ has, we just don't see it. So that's. Sure.
Thank you.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Moving on, I'll try to be brief so I don't hold up the meeting. Last time I was up here, I believe so, I was asking for the board to consider, and you guys did, thank you for that, approving a small match to the $3 million workforce housing grant that we are building right here in Jackson. So today is going to be a little bit of a reverse. And instead of me asking for money, I'm going to bring you $1.5 million. So in your package, you'll see a press release from the Golden Leaf Foundation, and I'm excited to announce and present to you a grant award of $1.5 million that will be used for infrastructure in the Commerce Park. Some of you may have seen the announcement in the local newspaper, but this is the formal presentation and acceptance of the award. To give you a little background, my team, Shannon, and Public Works Director Becky and our engineering consultants worked really hard to apply for this infrastructure grant. The grant funds will be used to construct a force main sewer line that will travel from the Commerce Park to our connection point on Highway 46 of about 10,000 linear feet of wastewater line. The whole purpose of this is to attract industrial growth and job growth and capital investment for the county. In our due diligence studies, we found that the wastewater capacity at the Commerce Park was insufficient. So simple terms, if you can't flush your toilet, you can't bring in a factory, you can't bring in advanced manufacturing, you can't bring anybody. And so we have to be able to flush the toilet. And we presented our case to the Golden Leaf Foundation. They heard and understood our vision and were grateful enough to award us with this $1.5 million to construct this sewer infrastructure. You'll see the formal grant acceptance that is in your package there. Scott and I have reviewed that. This is very similar to the prior grant award that we received. Any questions on that? I will also add that the grant does not require a match by the county. There's no such thing as I tell people, no such thing as free money, but this is 100% grant that will be awarded to the county that does not require a match. Now, that doesn't mean that a couple of months down the road, I may not come to the board and ask for additional money, but this $1.5 million does not require a match by the county at this time.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Do you need this approved tonight?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I thought, because I know you.
Before you vote and consider this matter, in addition to the $1.5 million, there was an additional $36,120 for due diligence work. Last year, we applied and were awarded about $50,000 for the due diligence work, which includes phase 1, archaeological surveys, boundary surveys, all of that good stuff. All of the prerequisites that are required for site consultants. In that work, and Ed, you may appreciate this because I believe it happened with the courthouse, we found that there were possible sites that may have archaeological artifacts. And as such, SHPO, which is the State Historic Preservation Office, is requiring additional work, which costs about between $14,000 and $36,000. And so Golden Leaf has awarded an additional $36,000 to complete that work as well.
Okay.
Any questions on the grant? This is big. It's $1.5 million that is going directly into Northampton County.
Anyone have any questions?
So I have one question. You said the 1.5 million plus the 36?
That is correct.
Okay. 36,120.
Yeah, that's this Terracon one that was separate.
I move we approve the grant.
Second,
Is that for both of them?
so we can,
Yes.
you can probably,
Yes.
All right. Do we have a discussion? If not, all in favor of approving both of these grants, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I, Brian X. Taylor.
Aye. Motion is carried.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have one other item that leads in, as a segue from the initial one. As I just mentioned, the archaeological survey for the Commerce Park requires additional work. Excuse me, Ms. Gouton, did you give them that? Okay, so I was late getting that to you guys. We had to make some last minute revisions during our review. So Terracon, who was the initial consultant that completed the archaeological work, will be performing the additional due diligence work as required by the State Historic Preservation Office. So you'll find that contract in your package. They're anticipated to begin next week, which is good for us because it keeps our project moving along. So I'm asking the board to approve the contract
Okay.
or award it to Terracon. Again, the funds will be paid, but the cost will be paid for using the grant funds that we just approved.
Anyone have any questions for Derek?
no.
I think this is very important to have archaeological approvals done ahead of a potential project. Working on a project right now, we're waiting on a permit because they have not finished archaeological studies.
And if you don't do it, you stand the risk of excavating or site work. And if you see an artifact, that completely stops construction. And the last thing we want is a multi-million-dollar company coming here and they can't build on land.
Right. Got to get a motion to approve the contract for the archaeological studies.
I'll make a motion that we approve the contract for the archaeological study.
I'll second.
All right. Any discussion? Not all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I, Broadnax Taylor.
Aye. Motion is carried.
That is all I have tonight. I want to say just thank you and congratulations on the award. Please also, when you see our Public Works Director, Becky, thank her because she was instrumental in this process.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Becky.
Okay, the next item is Health Department matters. Do we have anything? Okay. All right. Tax matters.
Good evening. I bring you greetings from the Northampton County Tax Department. I am before you with several items this evening. The first one is for an ad valorem tax appeal in the amount of $389.25. The second item is also an ad valorem tax appeal. There are 4 of those in the amount of $1,365.56. Also have another, this one is a motor vehicle tax appeal. There are 7 of those in the amount of $1,367.57. Are there any questions on that part of the presentation? Okay, I also have 3 resolution authorizing upset bid procedure for sale of procedure for sale of property owned by Northampton County. There are 3 of those in your book. None of these are action items.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions about any of the properties? Could we possibly get, before the next meeting when we vote, like the little tax card sheet that kind of describes these
The
properties?
property tax card? Yes, sir, sure.
That would be nice before we finally vote on it.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Anyone else have any questions?
right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Finance Department.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
The item I have before you tonight is Budget Amendment Number 37. The first item on this budget amendment is for Public Schools Building Fund. I've briefly spoken about this in previous meetings. When the school requests money from lottery funds from the state, they have to request those to the state, and then they are filtered through the county. We have to review those, make sure they're getting reimbursed for what they actually asked for those monies for. So this $5,542,639 is for what was received in fiscal year 24-25. So we are increasing the budget to show those transfers to the school system. The next item is DSS. In 2022, there was $274,263 appropriated to DSS. Those funds were not spent, so we are transferring those from DSS fund balance to transfer into general fund for ARPA funds that were appropriated in the current fiscal year. And the last items that are listed there, ARPA funds were appropriated to spend up that ARPA money prior to the December deadline. These were all already budgeted in the budget ordinance, but the transfers that had to take place, anytime you move money from that ARPA fund into another fund, you have to do a transfer. And so those transfers have to be included in the budget as well. These were actually items that were on the audit for one of the findings last year. So we are creating those transfers to keep that audit finding from happening again this year.
Okay.
And that is all I have.
Anybody have any questions? Does this need to be voted tonight, or is this?
Yes, please. 'Cause
Okay.
we are preparing final entries as we're closing out fiscal year 24-25. Also, just to give you an update, we have started working on the audit for 24-25. We have already started sending documents for testing. Typically, audits don't start until September, so we are very lucky to have gotten on the auditor schedule early on so that we can get our audit completed early this year.
Anyone got any questions? If not, could I get a motion to approve this budget amendment?
Make a motion that we approve the budget amendment.
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I, Broadnex Taylor.
Okay, motion is carried. Budget amendment is approved.
Thank you.
Next item is county manager and board comments.
Good evening again, everyone. I don't have any additional comments for tonight. I think I'm a happy camper because this is the first time since I've been here that we've actually started getting support documents to the auditors at this point in the year. So kudos to you and your team. And just thank you to all of the team in Northampton County for what you do. Like I mentioned the other day at the meeting, the county manager is not the one that runs the county. It's all of us together. We combine to make a team. And I've got a team of experts, subject matter experts that I rely on, that they're doing their thing on a daily basis. So I appreciate each and every one of you and what you do for the county. And even you, Ms. Gatlin. And I want to say to the citizens, thank you again for coming out and for your comments. We're taking notes on your comments and we'll respond. And be safe out there in this heat. Have a good night.
All right. Well, I'll start to my right with commissioners' comments.
Okay, all right. I'd like to say good evening to everyone, and I'm glad to be back physically in person with you all for the meeting. I do want to start off by acknowledging our young people. So I had an opportunity to attend the Gaston Fire and Rescue graduation ceremony that was June the 29th, and was allowed to speak there. And it was really, really awesome to see our young people learning life-saving events and knowing how to do those things so they can make an impact in our community. I also want to give a shout out to Matthew. I remember you when you were very, very young, and Miss Whitaker is my mom pre-K class, and your mother and I, we go way back. We attended Chowan University together, and we had the dream of being teachers. And so I just want to tell you that we are super proud of you and looking forward to all that you will continue to do in Northampton County to be a leader, to make an impact. And so we're proud of you. It takes bravery to stand up there and to speak publicly in front of people, and so for that, we commend you, and so you have our full support. So just wanted to say that. Again, echoing Dr. Phillips' sentiments as well, just want to give a huge thanks to the staff. I know that you all work tirelessly, you work hard, and it's not an easy job working the late hours and putting the time in. I want to just say thank you to every department, you know, big or small. We appreciate what you do for our county. And also, as we get concerns that are brought in, it's not anything out of the norm, no matter what time I contact Dr. Phillips or Dr. Gatlin. I appreciate you both looking into those concerns so that we can continue to move the county forward. Also, in regard to Ms. Majette's comments, and so I appreciate those comments, Ms. Majette, and we have been working with Mayor Newcomb in Rich Square, also working with Dr. Phillips and his team, and so we are looking to do some things to improve the Rich Square area. We did a walkthrough yesterday with the concerned citizens of Rich Square Group. And what my charge to the citizens in that township is, you know, as we continue to improve our communities, to make them look better, to beautify them, is to please refrain from the vandalism. Because as we fix things in our community, as we improve those things in our community, we want to make sure that we take care of it. So I just ask every citizen to please spread the word that as we are making improvements and fixing the things that are broken, that we don't go back and do some of those same behaviors again. And so while I'm on that topic, I know we are preparing for the Liberation Day celebration in Rich Square. It's taking place on Saturday. The parade starts at 10, and the festivities will start from 11 to 4 o'clock. And so we are inviting everyone countywide to come out and to support that event. A lot of time and effort has gone into it. We've been preparing for it the entire week. The committee has worked very, very, very hard, and I'm proud of each and every one of them. I see some of them here on tonight, so Ms. Futrell, Ms. Whitaker, and I'm also giving sentiments to Ms. Williams and Ms. Phillips in their absence as well, but a lot of time and effort has gone into it, and also Ms. Edith Clark, into making this event a success. And we appreciate the county government and their support, and also administration as well, as we prepare for this event. It's going to be a great one, and so please make sure that you spread the word. And as I wrap up, the 4th of July celebration that we also co-sponsor with the Chamber of Commerce, as well as some other sponsors, was awesome this past, I think it was Friday, and so we really enjoyed just being out there with the festivities and the fireworks show, and just having an opportunity to engage with the citizens, and it was just an awesome event. So again, just thanking everybody for all that they do, and I hope everyone has a wonderful and safe evening as we continue to experience some spurts of severe weather. So thank you so much.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out, and I do appreciate the young people. And I see some people that I have a lot of influence on these young people. And they did my son and my community, so let's all support our kids. Let's back them, give them all the opportunities we can do, because they're going to be our future leaders, and we need them to understand what our county is about and what we're looking for. So thank you for coming out. Be safe with all the bad weather we have, and thank you for all your comments.
Commissioner Brown, next item.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming. For the last 2 days, I've been going out to the football camp at the Northampton County Cultural and Wellness Center, sponsored by the Northampton County Recreation Center. First day, they worked on stretching, had 14 young men. They were out of sight. Had to leave early because I could feel my color coming out my hair. So I had to leave early that day. So I could feel it coming out. So I had to leave early that day. I said, guys, I'll see you tomorrow morning. I was there again this morning with them. They worked on the L exercises, and they shared with me that was to strengthen them and get their timing. Spent time with them, went out and got them some Powerade and water. I toughed it out with them again today. Tomorrow is day 3. I'm gonna tough it out again with them again tomorrow. All right, day 4, so who's tomorrow? Okay, we got another coach coming tomorrow from Northwest Halifax, gonna work with them. I'm gonna be out there again tomorrow cheering. So, day Friday is gonna be their last day. But I want you to know, I put the youth in Northampton County up against the youth anywhere in North Carolina. And we got some wonderful youth in Northampton County. So they're doing a fantastic job. Also, I want to send a shout out to Sheriff Jack Smith in the sheriff office. We're having a problem in Seaboard, North Carolina with RVs, with mini bikes, with these dirt bikes. And I'm the one that calls the police on them when they ride through my yard and they ride through the community. Because number 1, it's illegal. Number 2, it's aggravating. And they come and they're just as polite. When they come, the police come, and I like to thank them for coming, because Seaboard at the current time does not have any policemen. So we depend on Jackson to come in and to give us support. So I'd like to thank the Sheriff Department for whatever all they are doing to help us in Seaboard, North Carolina. And thank you all for sticking with us. As I say to you, a county is no better than the people that live in it. So again, thank you for coming. Thank you for what you do to make our county a better place to live and thrive.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight also, and appreciate your comments. We are having a retreat in August, and one of the things we will be talking about is long-term plans for some of these things that have been discussed. And we especially look to try to improve things for our youth. As Dr. Edwards said, you know, we got to do things about vandalism. Well, if we have things for our kids to do, they're less tempted. I was once a kid, believe it or not. And when you got some things to do, you're less tempted to get into mischief and trouble. And so if we can provide opportunities for our kids to have activities, it makes them better adults, keeps them out of trouble. So it's one of the things we'll take into consideration when we start looking at our long-term plans. And just like to thank everybody once again for coming out tonight, and drive safe on your way home. Next item is we need to go into closed session. Could I get a motion to go into closed session?
I make a motion that we go into closed session.
I'll second. Read it.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Needs to be A4 and A6, if you'll.
Okay. Just read the,
Motion to go into closed session pursuant to GS 143.
I make a motion, we go into closed session, GS 143-318-11, A4 EDC report,
And then A6 personnel.
A6 personnel.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, motion is carried. We will go into closed session.
So I'm his mom, but I'm 4 I've been here, I'll be here 2 years in August. Nice to meet you. I'm Cherie. So I have to come back out again, so I'm definitely gonna stop by your office. Send me an email. I just had a wonderful time over at the farm office and planning and zoning, so now I'm trying to get back